I have to extend my neck.
So we're still at the TSC.
Yes,
And we get to catch up with Emily Andras, who we haven't seen in forever.
I know, guys. How are you?
I mean,
know.
I can remember the last time.
Because you were.
I'm gonna say Lost Girls season 4.
Yeah. You weren't around for our Guinness thing because you were already.
No, but I watched it all. Oh my god!
Did
that almost kill you? No, but I was following it. No, I slept. I was like, "You're on your own, guys."
Yeah.
Did you guys break it?
We did.
We did.
Oh my god! Congratulations.
Records, but now it's been broken again.
Whatever.
But it was
the
like
originals.
Preemptively broken because in 2011 can't remember where they
Some
are.
studio,
Russia?
right? Yeah, it's like
Germany
Russia.
or
Was
something.
it exhausting?
But there was like a studio.
Or
that
was
did
it exciting?
for like a week.
It was exciting because we, you know, you get that point where you might be flagging just a little bit, but every 20 minutes or so, Sue had arranged it that there's a new guest coming in.
Yeah, good.
So you just pick up on their energy.
That's
like,
good. Oh my god, that's so cool. Okay.
But then
and I loaded up the second day with people that we know. So from like what time? Christian
like
Broom came in at like 3 in the
so
morning or
funny.
something, or 4 o'clock, and it just went from there where it was like solid either people we knew or we were like super stoked to meet for the first time.
Right.
And by that point, we didn't even care if we were embarrassing ourselves.
Or just
we
being
like,
hysterical. Yeah, exactly. This is what you're getting. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But you've been busy.
I have been pretty busy.
Yeah. I mean,
Not doing laundry if
No.
anyone asks. Yeah.
I need to do that. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, sorry.
But yeah.
We gotta go, guys.
Yeah. Peace out. Yeah.
Wynonna Earp.
Yes.
Congrats.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. I will admit I haven't seen it yet.
That's okay. You're gonna love it. I don't want to oversell it, but it's the greatest show that's ever been on television. No, I'm
really
kidding.
greatest.
Not to oversell that.
Although
you'll like it though.
Oh,
I
have no
know
doubts.
you'll like it.
Yeah, I have
you
no
need to
doubts
get
I'll
through the
love
pilot. The pilot is a pilot, but then I just know you guys. I
watched the first 2 episodes,
Okay,
and the others are on my PVR. I just am not apparently
Do
home
you have
ever.
a Nielsen box? If you do, go home right now and watch it, because like I am gonna sit on you guys. Well, thank you. It's been.
If you could just send me all the episodes, I could just binge them.
Don't even tell me. I can. I know how to get screeners. I know a guy.
All right.
I know a guy.
We will
Yeah,
talk.
exactly. Okay.
Because I do
fair
want
enough.
to binge it. Because
Good.
that's the only way to watch television.
Yeah.
Now, is binge
Well,
it.
I wish you could
And
tell
that's
the
what I do,
networks
like,
that
the,
though, right? This is the problem. Everybody, I can't remember the last time I watched something live that wasn't sports, but we are still using the Nielsen, so it's just like this Wild West now, appropriately of like, well, are we measuring social media? Are we measuring PVR watching? Are we measuring iTunes sales? So it's kind of an exciting time and kind of terrifying when you're making a show.
You could just be like Netflix and just drop the entire.
So do you think there's buzz about the show? See, I'm turning around.
I think so.
Good.
I've got some posts from people I know online.
Good.
And there's talking about, like I saw one the other day said, has anybody heard about this show yet? And what's your input on it? And I saw a couple other friends saying, yes, it's from so and so. It's done by so and so.
We've trended we do a live tweet every live airing, and we've trended every live tweet, so that's good. And the reviews have been amazing. So that's what surprised me the most.
Our friend Kevin Jennings, he messaged me on Facebook a couple of days ago, and he's like, "You need to start watching Wynonna Earp," and I'm like, "I do. Like, have you met me? Like,
yeah, exactly.
watch it."
Exactly. You're like, it was made.
I'm an episode behind at the time because I binged the first 2, and then I didn't have any more, and then I got busy again.
I'll send you guys them. I can totally get them.
I got them all on my TV.
Okay, good. Okay, good.
Let's see where I don't have TV.
So. I know.
Don't you cover television? See,
well,
this is the Wild West I'm talking about.
And internets.
Yes, exactly. The interwebs. I know.
Although my contacts
I still
at
have
Space
a tube TV and I can't watch it.
Well, they've your contacts at Space have dried up because you're like, I don't own a TV, and they're like,
maybe that's
goodbye.
what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Ciao, ciao.
Yeah, exactly.
But you guys are shooting in Calgary again?
We shot in Calgary. We're all finished. We shot in Calgary from September to February, and it was a gas. I grew up in Calgary, so it was so fun to go back there. It was weird. It was like nostalgic, but everything had changed, but nothing had changed. It was like dust in the wind. We had an incredible crew. We had the crew who did Fargo and The Revenant and Hell on Wheels. So I have to say the show looks spectacular.
That's amazing.
And you know, it feels like such a fun place to do a sci-fi show because it's really like the West and the mountains.
Yeah.
It's not sort of a spaceship, which is claustrophobic and has its place on television. But it's a very different feeling.
Shining.
Yeah, exactly. But there's still demons and stuff like that. So that was crazy, but really fun. So yeah, I picked up my whole family and we just moved.
Oh, that's amazing. And you know,
that's one word for it.
Sure,
yeah.
Well, it also depends on how big said family is. Yes. Mine would be me and 2 cats.
Right.
So that's
hey,
fine.
that counts. The cats are still like, what is happening?
What is going on? Where's my letterbox?
Exactly.
Now, the word tropes has been brought up a lot already this weekend. We're only 2 sessions in. It's been
and
brought up
beats.
a lot.
I know, beats. Oof, I know, it's so much pressure. I'm like, guys, I'm still faking my way through it. Don't
I'm
make
gonna
me
lay down
define
the
things.
beats.
Exactly.
But I mean, with Wynonna, you get to play with the traditional Western tropes, which are great, and hopefully put a few on their heads.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
As well as the supernatural and science fiction tropes.
Yeah.
Now,
it's trope sandwich.
Right?
USA, it's trope blender.
Or a demon casserole.
So it's a Western, but it's modern day. So like we always say, she hates horses, but she'd ride a motorbike.
Hot.
It's supernatural. But the other thing about the Western is it's traditionally kind of a world of the patriarchy, right? You think of like brotherhood and cowboys, and this is really a world of women just running around the West kicking ass with guns.
Which is amazing.
So, yes, we're...
when they can shoot them, they can kick
exactly. She gets better. Spoiler alert. So,
Not everybody can be Rey in Star Wars and just automatically be good at stuff.
No, that's true. That's true. Poor Rey. She's going to be fine, I think. So, yes, that's exactly it. It is sort of that thing of we take a bunch of tropes, but we try to mix them up and turn them on their heads. But, you know, I just said in my session, it's funny, like, trope can be a dirty word, right?
Oh, totally
it can kind of be but, I mean, I also mean that in the way that, like, you can say, well, like, nobody wants to do tropes, but there are tropes that are valuable, too. Like, one example I always use is, like, the story of Christ and Harry Potter and Luke Skywalker and King Arthur is the same trope, right? It's the orphan who gets all the powers, kind of becomes a chosen one, and triumphs over evil. And like
they're all white guys.
They're all white guys
in the Middle East.
Watch Wynonna Earp. Watch Wynonna Earp. Buffy. But there's a reason we tell those stories over and over again is because they speak to something in our consciousness, and that's okay. You know, that's okay. You don't. There's always a fresh way to tell the story.
Yeah. That's how cliches come to be cliches, because there's truth in them. There's like a nugget of truth at least.
But definitely, like, obviously with my work, Lost Girl, Wynonna, and Killjoys, one trope I'm always interested in turning on its head is any gender trope or sexuality trope. I'm like, let's just flip that.
And I love that all 3 shows have done that.
Yes.
Yeah. I just...
Genre is very kind to those things, right? Because you are talking about the supernatural and the paranormal. It's a way to kind of slip in.
Totally.
This is
about
humanity, right? Like that's what Star Trek did. It's like, oh wait, this is actually about us. So
I love that stuff.
Thank you.
God, I can't wait to binge this.
I know exactly. Let's go. Turn this off. Exactly.
But also, just from total geek standpoint, because it's going up in my post later, the fact that you, Hope, tend to be one of my favorite writers for television. Not a favorite writer, but my favorite TV writer.
He doesn't even know who I am. He's going to say that to the next person.
It's true.
Yeah, exactly.
It's written right here on my hand.
Evelyn Andrews.
Who was this?
Super good at writing. Exactly.
She's really swell.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, to come off of things we enjoy like Lost Girl and Killjoys and now Wynonna Earp, and then to have you and that group of writers just break down and do a spec script of Buffy. That was such a fanboy moment for me.
You. Oh, that's so nice.
I got so excited because I didn't know what you guys were doing until I read the blurb. I'm like, oh my god, they're doing a Buffy script?
Right.
So I wrote down all the story notes.
Oh, good.
So I'm like, I don't know if I share them with anybody.
Sure, I can send you the story notes too if you want them.
Because I'm like, it's a great episode. I mean, like you said, there's obviously could stand another day to break it a little more, but
see, everyone has notes. He's like, well, I have some notes, right?
No, the bare bones are there. And I'm like, this would be such a wicked episode.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, you know, I really think it's a good example of when you want to start writing. It's very intimidating. What do you do? So the spec script is a great entry point. Like, honestly, just sitting down, watching a bunch of episodes of your favorite show, whether it's X-Files or Star Trek or Buffy, breaking down the act breaks and how they do structure, and then just trying to write one. That's because you know the voices, you know the characters. That's such a good sort of gateway drug to screenwriting. So that's why we chose Buffy.
Maybe that's what I gotta do.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
Because, like, in Glenn's session, literally, my brain goes, you know, it'll be a good series.
Yeah,
and my brain goes, here it is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
Now, I could totally write that, but I'm not sure I've got a voice yet.
Yeah. That's what's hard, right? And, like, not to discourage you from doing your own original work, you absolutely should. But, like, the truth about a spec script is, like, it's baby steps. It's training wheels. And also the other thing is, like, if you truly want to become a writer, you're not going to probably start and create your own series and just get your own series. If you really want to be in a writing room, I almost want to know you can imitate, that you can
Yeah,
do structure and you can imitate a voice.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't care about your crazy good series. When you have a series, you can do that. But right now, I need someone who can write scenes that sound like me.
I'm going to do a Quantum Leap spec script.
But you should.
See, exactly.
Yes.
But you'd have to have a twist on it, because if I picked up Quantum Leap, I'd be like, did he write this 20 years ago? Like I said. But if you're like, this is a new Quantum Leap, 2016.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would totally do
Did
that.
they try to reboot Quantum Leap?
Did they really not, or are you just
I
ignoring the
know.
fact that they?
Oh,
Okay.
I thought I heard rumors they were going to. Okay.
I was gonna say, even in the pilot, but much more so in the second episode, I see you in it.
Oh, do you?
Yeah,
Oh,
like I know your work well enough that I'm
God.
like it's
Am
been
I-
Andras.
Oh no! Hopefully, it's not like telling the same jokes over and over and over
No,
again.
but
No,
you've
you're
got
like,
I guess a voice, for lack of a better word.
Oh, thank
You've
you.
got a
Good.
style, I guess.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I can see you in there.
Oh, good. That's nice.
Like, I think now I'm getting to a point where I could watch a show that I didn't know you were attached to and go like, I think I'm going to check with Emily to see if she had any
that's so
hand in this,
nice.
because...
Well, as long as you keep
there's like
watching,
a-
and not
yeah.
like, nope.
Yeah.
Well, that's one thing.
Yeah,
that's,
your name comes up.
Yeah,
and
you're
goes,
like,
"Oh,
nope.
forget
Yeah.
Well, thank you. That's so nice. I mean, you always want to challenge yourself, but yeah, I definitely tend towards female-driven genre that has a real comedic bent and emotional stakes. And I like to play with tone a lot, so I like kind of big tonal shifts even within an episode. So
Like, it's like when I watched THX 1138, I could see, obviously, I watched it after Star Wars.
Yeah.
Multiple viewings of Star Wars, but
Right.
I could see, like, the progression of, I could see George's
That's how it
growth.
grew.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
And it's kind of like that, like you have a feel,
Oh,
I guess.
thank you.
Something
Oh, thank
feels
you.
like you.
It feels like me.
It's not you, and you could go back to, like,
yeah.
the pilot of Lost Girl,
Right.
and then jump up to, like, the first or two episodes that I've only seen so far.
Yeah. Oh, thank
Of
you.
Wynonna, and you can see, like, there's similarities, but you can see your growth through
Oh,
it as
thank
well.
you. Well, I hope so. And like the truth in a first season is like you also rely a lot on those tricks, and then eventually hopefully if you do it right, the series becomes its own beautiful baby, right? And you're like, oh, this series actually is its own thing as well. But thank you. Well, I hope you liked watching it. Yeah, exactly. It's an Andras. Turn the channel. No, I'm just kidding. No,
never.
Yeah.
Never. 'Cause it just looks fantastic.
Thank you.
Like I said, I'm ready to binge it. I'm not going to read any of the comics yet.
No.
I want to see the
comics
TV
are pretty
series.
different.
Yeah, like, how much of the source material did you...
Not much, to be honest. I picked up the comics, I always talk about this, and like my whole spine felt tingly. There was something in it that I was like, if I could cook up the perfect property for myself, this would be it. I love that there's this like batshit crazy female protagonist. I love kind of a woman dealing with being the descendant of the greatest gunslinger of all time. I love the supernatural
And hating it.
That wasn't in the comics so much. Like she's more on the Black Badge division in the comics, and I wanted to do more of an origin story. I really liked the setting. I loved all the monsters, but it was a product of the 90s, so like she's wearing like band-aids over her breasts and like fighting zombies, and I'm like, we're gonna save so much money on wardrobe if we go. We're filming in Calgary in February. We might need to put a sweater on her.
A shirt or
Maybe,
something.
yeah. Spoiler alert: she wears a shirt. Sometimes she doesn't. So it really was, and honestly, to IDW and Bo Smith's credit, Bo is the author of the comic. He's like probably the loveliest person I've ever met, and he's an incredible writer. But we really understood that like you're going from one medium to the other, right? So I created it. I really wanted to make it a sister story. I brought in Doc Holliday and Agent Dolls, who's kind of her boss. I made Wynonna younger, and I gave her kind of a tragic past. I just really wanted her to be kind of an anti-hero and have to fight uphill a little bit. So. And you know, also just the realities of television production is like in the comic book, they're like fighting gremlins on a jet plane and like zombies on a battlefield, and I'm like, we got one zombie. Yeah. So we decided to make
one
a
guy
more...
on like a prairie.
Exactly, and he's like working the camera.
Yeah.
So we really wanted to make it about demons, and once we kind of solidified that, everybody liked it. We pitched it as Buffy meets Justified meets Frozen.
Oh, yeah.
So good luck. I know. And
See?
the network was like, if you can pull this off, we can honestly say we have not seen this before. So,
That's awesome.
yeah, thank you. Yeah. But I thoroughly recommend the comics. And the other thing that has happened is now that the television series is out, Bo has written a companion piece.
Yeah, I
of
saw
comics.
that. Yeah,
I
it's
kind
cool.
of like take the characters that I created in the series and wrote for them. So
Yeah, because
there's some really interesting stuff there.
they've been showing up in some of my IDW comics.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Is
Oh, yeah.
at the end of the comic, now a sneak peek of Wynonna
Yeah.
Earp. I'm like, oh. Is that the series Emily is working on?
Yes. And IDW which is the comic book company, has been really instrumental in support. Like, they own this property and they're really going for it. Yeah, they're amazing people.
They are, because I mean, look what they did with Orphan Black.
I know, exactly. Right? Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, what else is coming down the pipe? Anything exciting beyond more Wynonna Earp?
I'm
Anything
possibly coming on the show with Michelle.
Yeah, exactly. I'd love to come on the show with Michelle.
We can make that happen.
Michelle, you and me, baby.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it'd be so much giggling. You'd be like, turn off the camera.
Tim and I have gone for a coffee somewhere.
Yeah,
exactly.
Still going.
Yeah,
Just leave it roll.
It'd be pretty, but I love that
Send this to the
girl.
wine rack for more wine.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds perfect.
Yeah,
always
we don't
double
drink
the amount of wine you think you're going to need if Michelle and I are on the show. No. What else is coming down the pipe? Well, believe it or not, I'm still editing Wynonna Earp, so I'm like on Monday I have playback for episode 9. And it's special effects and music and color correcting and all that stuff. Lots of marketing, trying to make people watch the show, live tweeting, promoting. Fingers crossed for a second season. And then I do have a couple things I'm developing on the side, but right now my heart is with Wynonna.
That's
If
awesome.
I had my druthers, I'd write it for a long time. I absolutely love it. So, yeah.
And points for druthers.
Oh, thank you. Just dropped a druthers in there. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I know, it's one of those words you don't get to say out loud very often, right?
That's true.
Yeah. I said myriad the other day. And I was
Wow.
like, a myriad of emotions. And I was like, oh, well, that's a good one. You don't say that out loud. Not sure I pronounced that correctly, but yeah.
Sounds right.
Yeah, myriad. Yeah. It's like sometimes I read a nice thing that said if someone mispronounces a word, you shouldn't be a jerk about correcting them because it means they learned it by reading it.
Yeah.
I read that somewhere too. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's a really good point.
That's
that
true.
Like, there's those words we never say out loud but read.
Because I said macabre wrong.
Oh, macabre.
So
well, I said
long.
I used to say self-depreciating
wrong?
instead of self-deprecating,
That's awesome.
and no one ever,
Oh, man.
no one
you just go
ever.
down in value.
But
I
that's
guess.
what it made. Like, it made more sense to me that I was like, well, you're self-depreciating yourself.
When
And
I was
like,
little
no.
and I'd see credits on TV, I thought it was an excusive producer. So
Oh,
there was a
cute.
producer that had to come up with excuses
Oh,
for
that's
why things
perfect.
didn't go right.
I've worked with that guy.
Yeah.
yeah exactly. Yeah,
She played it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've worked with that guy.
That is awesome.
I'm going to
Yeah.
be an excusive producer when
Yeah,
I grow
exactly.
up.
Yep.
Well,
Still
Emily,
make the same paycheck. Yep.
we're going to let you have your lunch.
Thank you
'cause
so
we're
much,
gonna
you
go,
guys.
We're going to go have our lunch.
Yeah.
Thanks,
And-
Wine
Oh,
Rules.
so much fun to have you come in.
Oh my God, my pleasure, you guys. So lovely to see you.
Yeah.
Bye.